Hey, it's Wally, and I just want to thank so many people, our potties, the people that listen to the radio station, for partnering together to make a difference in the lives of Ukrainian refugees. This thing over there is a mess. We're entering the 5th month of this, and it's just heartbreaking to see what people are going through and how they're having to live. But here's the upside. Together, we have sent more than 100,000 meals to Ukraine already. These meals are being distributed by 3,500 pastors who are risking their lives every day to minister to these families and get them the food that they need. So if you've given, thank you so much. Now, we're down to the last couple weeks of the month, and how cool would it be to up the ante here and send another 50,000 meals by the end of July? I know it sounds like a lot, but at 25 cents a meal, that's not a lot, and a little bit from each of us can go a long way. I know I've already done my part because I'm never going to ask you to do something I won't do, but think about it. $100 sends 400 meals, and then if you roll that out and do $500 or $1,000 gift, imagine the impact that you're having. So if you want to get involved, you've seen all the hardship and the heartache and thought, man, I wish there was something I could do. This is something you can do. Just join us by texting Wally to 91999. That's Wally to 91999. And the cool part of this is, man, you get to be the answer to a mom's prayer as she's wondering how she's going to feed her children. Again, text the word Wally to 91999. Welcome to the Wally Show Aftercast, all the stuff we did not get to during the course of the show today. Betty Rock, who puts the podcast together, and if you already heard that, then you were like, oh, well, that was a long one today. We were very verbose on the show today. Yeah. I think the regular show.
I didn't realize it until I saw.
Yeah, wow. There's a lot of stuff going on today. So hopefully you listen to both the Aftercast and the podcast. Most people that listen to the Aftercast, they tell me that they do listen to both. So that's cool.
And I would like to add, too, that maybe you enjoy the Wally Show podcast Aftercast so much that you would like to share it with your friends. If so, the best way to spread the good news, that sounds like I'm talking about the Bible, but I'm not. I'm talking about the Wally Show.
Close.
Is tell your friends to text TWS, the letters TWS, which stand for The Wally Show, to 91979. When they do that, we will send them a link. That's TWS to 91979.
I like when we get to talk about life stuff and like some faith stuff as well, because I'm real honest, on the podcast and my doubts, my questions, my own hang-ups with faith and things like that. And we were talking about this the other day about faith, and when you're in small group, the part of small group where everybody comes together and you do the prayer request at the end and pray for Aunt Judy's traveling, and you're like, okay, is me ripping this prayer off real quick really gonna help her not die in a plane crash, and then we discussed all the stuff about, prayer is for you more so than the outcome, and we had a really good discussion about it. But Betty Rock had thrown out this thought. You had asked me, then you must not like the prayer wall, and because it's strangers praying for strangers, and I was like, no, I love the prayer wall. I love this concept. And I like that when you pray for somebody, they get notified that you prayed for them. I think it's really, really cool. But I could see where you were coming from, and I wasn't able to articulate well what I was saying. And enter Matt. Matt had emailed me, and he said, hey, I was listening to y'all's podcast where you're talking about prayer and small group. For me, prayer groups tend to be something to just check off of a list to be a good Christian. I feel like we lose that relationship part of prayer when it's viewed as something to check off. I feel that there's a difference between a church prayer group and the prayer wall, the example Betty Rock had mentioned from the podcast. When something is posted on the prayer wall, people choose to go there and pray because they want to, not because they're expected to. If these same types of prayer requests were mentioned at a dinner party, I almost feel cornered into praying for somebody. So for me, there's a difference between prayer in small groups and something like the prayer wall. And I thought, that was a good distinction for me, because you are being intentional. If you're spending time on the prayer wall to pray for other people, then it matters more than the check off the list at the end of small group kind of thing.
Because you're saying the main focus of the prayer wall is praying for others, while the Bible study is not the main focus. Isn't to pray for others. It's to study the Bible.
Well, it's to choose to pray for people. Like you're going through and looking at prayer requests that connect with you, and you're interceding for them because there's a reason it matters to you, and you're like, man, I do want to pray for this person. Versus when someone throws up, pray for my sick cat, and you're like, I don't feel that. And so you're going to throw up some prayer because you have to. You feel obligated to. Kind of like we were talking about tipping. You feel obligated to tip because you're expected to. That's what it feels like to me.
I get to some degree. Once again, I'd like for you the next time your Bible group gets together is you make a mental note of what you hear, because I don't think you would hear things about your cat throwing up or what it was you said yesterday.
Well, for example, one lady I know in a thing was like, oh, just pray for our kitchen remodel. Like, no, that's not a pray for thing in my book.
Right. I get what you're saying, because sometimes taking prayer requests can sometimes feel like a gossip chain where it's like, I just want to talk. I just want to have an opportunity to say something and everyone sit there and listen to me. I get where you're coming from on that. I just think it gets dangerous when we judge what is applicable to be prayed for and what isn't.
And that's fair. That's a fair statement. And that's where I realize that I have my own bias in this, and I'm telling God what is what matters or not based on my own experience. For example, I'm trying to do a screened-in porch over my deck, which has been a nightmare with getting permits and all this other stuff. Ridiculous. Frustrating. Needlessly so. But I would never in a billion years sit at my prayer group and go, yeah, guys, could you just pray that this permit will get worked out? And I really need this screened in porch. Like I would never even remotely consider it, because to me, that's just a dumb life thing that doesn't really matter whether I get it or not. And I don't want to waste people's time praying for that.
Now, if you, let's say, asked somebody, and this may not be the question that you would ask per se, but it's like, hey, would you pray that I
don't murder
handle
someone?
This gracefully? I think that would be like a worthwhile thing to be like, oh yeah, like I can pray and ask, for God to intercede on that, because sometimes that can be tough. Yes, something like that, which means absolutely zero to the kingdom of God.
Right.
Yeah, I would never pray for that.
Because I know my wife will pray for me before meetings like that. I know that she knows we're having a hard meeting that day, and she'll pray for me that I will have peace, or that I will be calm, or I will choose my words wisely versus being uber direct and things like that. That does make more sense to me. Like that does make sense of praying for somebody in how they handle something versus the outcome of it, but
so do you think
if you're okay, here's the example, the travel thing. Okay. I don't know why I get hung up on the travel
you really
thing.
Do.
Well, because I don't think that God is not going to crash a plane because I sat there and said, please don't crash this plane. But if you were to say to me, my aunt has a real fear of flying, and it freaks her out. Like that I could see going, okay, pray for your aunt to be calm. God, will you calm her, regardless of what happens on this flight, keep her calm through it and give her peace.
I think in your reality, in your truth, you need to see that as they're bringing it up. They're bringing it up because they're anxious about it. So you can pray for their anxiety, and you can say, God, I pray that you'll give them peace for their travels, because ultimately I think that's what they're saying is that they're anxious about flying, or they know someone who is, so just pray for their anxiety that they'll stay calm throughout it. Ultimately, that is what they're saying.
Maybe read between the lines a little bit more. Yeah.
Because I think some people don't want to admit that they have anxiety. It makes them seem weak. But if they say, oh, can you pray for safe travels for blah, 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 blah. Well, yeah, it's just their way of saying, I have anxiety over this. Can you just pray for peace?
Sure. Okay. Well, there you go. So I do like to bring up stuff that people email back on regarding the show and everything. So, all right, let's get to some of the stuff going on. Weird story in the latest line of public shootings. This one happened at Love Field in Dallas, where Southwest flies out of. There was a lady that got dropped off at the airport at 11. She walks inside near the ticketing counters, enters the bathroom, comes out in a hooded sweatshirt, and then pulls a gun and shoots several shots into the ceiling. So she's not trying to shoot anybody, but she's shooting these things into the ceiling. And you're like, okay, this reeks of a suicide by cop kind of situation to me. It seems like I don't really want to hurt anybody, but I don't want to be here anymore. If I do this, I'm going to get shot, which she did get shot. But the officer that shot her in a non-lethal place.
Took her down.
Yeah, took her down, and then they took her to the hospital. And then more stuff is coming out about her. Apparently, she was in trouble last year for something and was deemed not fit for trial. So she's got things going on.
Yeah, but then how did she get a hold of a gun?
That's a big question.
They're looking into it. Did they say who dropped her off?
No, it was still so new when I was looking at this. They didn't say that, but they shut the airport down for almost 4 hours. Even though this happened by ticketing, they shut the whole thing down. Like, so if you're at the gate, they made you leave. Like, if you're about ready to go, you're just, well, sorry, let's go.
That would be so frustrating.
Yeah.
Especially, you don't want. Why?
I know.
If you want to cause a ruckus, go somewhere else.
We have enough problem with the airlines getting us to where we need to go. We don't need each other jacking this up. That's why, like, when you get on a plane and somebody's acting the fool, you just want to be like, look, we got a 3-hour flight. Hold your crazy. Hide your crazy for 3 hours. And then when you get to wherever you're going, go nuts. But just please, let us just get there, okay? If that's not too much to ask, I would appreciate it. And finally here, when you say Pride Month, everybody's head immediately goes to rainbow flags and parades and signs and all that stuff. But did you guys know that there's a Disability Pride Month?
No.
I did not know that.
People who are very, I guess, proud of their disabilities, or just
It's to
taking
raise
time
awareness.
to recognize it?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it for physical or mental?
All of it. And so, and I didn't know that because Pride has become synonymous with the LGBTQ community. And there isn't a version that would, because Pride, everything gets forced down your throat, like during Pride Month especially. Oh, my goodness. And so when you hear that, you go, great, another Pride Month. There's a tendency to do that. But like this one, when I saw this, I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And I mean, the Disability Pride Month celebrates the amazing people who deal with disabilities every day and overcome or manage them. One mom, Natalie, said, July is Disability Pride Month, which again, I didn't know. I'm proud to love somebody with multiple disabilities. My son, Rain, has a traumatic brain injury that resulted from being shaken by a daycare provider. You're like, oh my
That's terrible.
gosh, this person destroyed this other guy's life and for no reason. He has come so far from the prognosis of being vegetative to being loving, fun young man. He makes everyone he meets smile. Another mom said there's so much more. There's something, Emma is so much more than the things she's struggling with at this age. She's really young, but I don't want her to ever feel like she's less than because of her disability. And I don't want her to ever feel ashamed or to hide her disabilities. And so that's cool. I think it's cool. I didn't realize that this was another thing, that it existed.
And also it brings attention to that group of people. And I can't imagine being the provider, the parent for someone with a physical disability.
Hard.
You would have to be. That's something that you would definitely have anxiety over, and you'd probably have to battle with all the time.
Oh, it's exhausting. Like, for example, my nephew has special needs, and they have things that they have to work around with him that they can't go do. They have triplets, and so 2 of them are going off to college, and he's going to live with them. The third one's going to live with them for probably, most likely, the rest of his life. And there are things that they have to do, to cater to his needs. And it's tiring. It's exhausting, But by the same token, there's also really great stuff with it. And I think a lot of times, too, from the outside, we focus on what you don't have and how hard it is and blah, blah, blah. And I think that the point of this is to celebrate the fact that, yes, there's a disability, but man, this kid's amazing. Like my nephew makes me gut laugh so many times. He's just funny and he's sassy and I love this kid. But then you've got, all these other parents that are like, you like kids with Down syndrome, where people would look at that from the outside and think, man, that's really hard. They are some of the most loving people on the planet, man. You've ever had a Downs kid hug you? Holy cow. You have been hugged.
They just need to be given an opportunity. That's what I loved about that guy that called last week or the week before.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how he runs a business that provides jobs.
The dog treat business.
Yes.
I love that.
And he even got emotional talking about what he did. And I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Do me a favor. I know this is the Aftercast, so it's not as much, but where I said a Downs kid, don't like flame me on the verbiage that I chose. A kid with Down syndrome, like take the heart of what I said, not the specific linguistics that may or may not be appropriate because it's not intentional. So look at the heart, please. Anyway, so Lady Rock, what do you got?
I want you and Gavin, you two, to shake hands.
Let me see if I can reach him.
Yeah,
You're
short
both
arms,
pretty
come on
short.
over.
Need you.
Like I gotta go to you? Okay, reach over there. Oh my gosh, dead fish.
Not dead fish.
Yeah, it was a dead fish hand.
Oh, come on.
The reason
It's across the... I can come over there and give you a better one.
That's too late. I've already formulated my opinion of you.
That's fine.
The reason that I wanted
worries.
y'all to shake hands is because studies show that a weak hand grip strength may signal some serious health issues.
By that handshake, Gavin should be dead.
All right. And go work on the handshake after work today, apparently.
So if you have what Wally would call a dead fish handshake, then you might want to look into finding a cardiologist.
What?
Yeah, because it could be pointers to heart issues,
Yeah, my chest hurts.
lung issues. It's more of an emotional hurt. And even a lower life expectancy.
Really? Mm-hmm. So those guys that give you the big handshake or have strong hand grip strength
that
might
hurt
live
you.
longer? Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Now
Wally
you're going to
has,
see
like-
Wally
yeah.
giving everybody the death grip.
Yeah.
Those people scare me. And I say that as a dead fish handshaker.
Those people scare
Those
me.
people do scare me because they grip with the force of somebody who maybe has to like crush things with their hands for a living.
And
To
some
me,
people-
as a woman, when I meet some guy who like gets a death grip on my hand,
I would never do that to a woman.
I'm thinking, what are you trying to prove?
Exactly.
Because you obviously are insecure about something. It's the same like with a little guy in a big truck.
Right.
When you see some guy in a big truck, you're thinking, you're insecure, aren't you?
There is an element to that where guys will shake hands, and there is like the hand
And then you do
the bump,
the hand pat on the back, but it's like pow, pow.
But like when you do the actual handshake, like say you meet someone in business and you're not doing the friend pull them in, there are people that definitely give you the hard handshake and they hold it longer, and it almost is an asserting dominance kind of thing, definitely. And then other people, like they just have this crazy strength.
What happens if that happens to you? What do you do? Like if someone is trying to assert dominance, what
do you try and match it?
Oh yeah, you
like
match
you don't
it.
break eye contact.
No, you don't
and
match
you just
it.
hold
You're just
until they let go.
I can do this all day. You want to do this?
You're
I'll
like,
do
give me
this
the
too.
other hand.
And
Yeah.
Gavin's over there like,
Hey!
ouchie.
Yeah.
What is more preferable then for you versus like strong grip that's just annoyingly strong, or
A week.
a fishy
Floppy
hand?
fish?
Yeah, fishy handshake.
To
What's
me,
more
that's
preferable?
creeper.
Yeah.
I would say I'd rather have the egotistical, insecure guy who's got
Really?
a death grip on my hand because I can give it right back.
Yeah. See, I'll never death grip like a woman's hand. Like I always try to be.
I've had it happen
kind
before,
with them.
though.
Oh yeah.
How
Yeah.
firm can you? You just don't. I'm not gonna.
Don't hurt him, Betty.
Are you
Please
scared?
don't. No, just like squeeze as hard as you can. That I was. Okay. She can't give it right back.
Yeah. See, like if I'm gonna give Betty a handshake, here is a guy's handshake to a woman. Okay. So that's what I'm gonna do. Like that.
Yeah, you don't
That's-
even need to do the up and down
No,
per se.
that's the right amount of pressure. Just a
Yep.
nice, solid handshake. I'm
but
still masculine.
Don't ever.
Yes.
Unless you are married to them or you're
Yes.
actively dating them.
Yes. What?
Don't ever take your thumb and rub it on the side of their hand.
Wait, what?
No, like when you.
Like when you
I didn't just do that, did I?
No, you
Oh,
didn't.
okay.
No.
Oh, yeah.
But when I shake your hand, like
Yeah.
if you took your thumb right now and that is disgusting. Don't
Yeah.
ever do that.
that's-
Have you ever had someone do that to you?
Yes.
That's
no.
wrong.
Yes.
That's too wrong.
It's disgusting.
I would never even remotely consider that.
Yeah.
Now,
Ew.
like I have.
It gives off creeper vibes.
I'm trying to think
sure.
if I've ever done it. Let me see your hand real quick. Like if I've done this or like you go like that or something like where you do that
That's
second
like
hand
that's
pat.
like an old man.
there's too much
handshake. That's fine.
Yeah, but it's not like the thumb. like
fine.
There's too much intimacy there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Ew.
Now I'm gonna do that all the time.
Remember when you went through a phase of winking?
Yes,
That was
I
creepy.
do remember that. I had
He'd
a-
always like
I had a
he would have
weird-
a conversation
Yeah.
with me, and then at
Yeah.
the end he'd just give that little.
I had like a weird, like it wasn't
It
like
was creepy.
It wasn't like it came off creepy, but it wasn't like a flirtatious winky thing. It was more like we're in on the
Yeah.
the joke, like
Yeah,
but
but
that was it. But yeah, I
still,
get it. No, I get it.
It was like, ugh,
Yeah, I get that.
please stop.
I
But then
did.
you just didn't realize you were doing.
Yeah, and yeah, I know.
Here's the thing, though. I'm all for you bringing it back, but you have to do the same thing to Gavin.
Oh, absolutely. I'm equal
I'm gonna look
opportunity.
away. Oh, wait, are you talking about the handshake or
The wing.
Both.
I'm looking away every time.
Oh, you should do the handshake. Show him shake his hand. Shake his hand.
No, I'm not showing him the thumb rub.
no,
Let me show it to
absolutely
you.
not.
No.
I know
yes,
what it
come here.
is.
Give me
Yeah.
your hand.
Yeah.
And then the guy goes like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
too
yeah.
flirtatious. It's too
It's
like
disgusting.
It really is
Yeah.
flirtatious.
I don't like it.
Absolutely.
it's
Yeah.
something that's reserved. Like if I'm holding hands with my wife at like
Yeah.
a movie or
It's
something,
different.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it. But that's the only way that it's reserved.
Yeah,
for sure.
I had someone at church.
Ew.
Gosh almighty. I had somebody at church back when we used to do the reach across the aisles and hold hands with your neighbor and we're going to pray this thing
That
out.
was a thing?
Yeah. Oh,
Ew.
yeah.
No.
At one of the churches I went to. My church now, oh my goodness. Hey, everybody, before we sit down, make sure you look around and shake a hand. Like, really? Are we there yet? I mean, I know we're like post-COVID-ish where we live, but
Well, you just probably
I
have
don't wanna
never
do
liked
that.
Don't care about COVID
Yeah.
until it's something that puts you in an awkward
Yeah.
position.
I don't
and
wanna-
then you don't.
Then it's a
want
tool
to.
I
for
don't
you
want to
to-
shake hands with people I don't know at church. No, I don't. But I had somebody, no lie, a dude, when we did the hands across the thing, and so I got my hands out like this, did not grab my hand like a regular hand, did the interlocking
Ew.
fingers
He
thing.
did a waffle instead of a
he
pancake?
did. Yes, and I'm like, gah! I'm like, you cannot pray this
You
out
release
fast
that
enough.
hand as quick
yeah,
as
and I
possible.
didn't like roll my fingers. I just left mine like this. I'm like, oh, this is so bad. Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, and then when I
That's-
was in Denver for a thing, I don't know what happened and what you people do in Denver. If you're a potty in Denver, maybe you can explain it to me. I do an event and I all the time, hey, can we take a picture? Take a picture? Fine. So we like stand there to picture. A lot of times I'll have my hands in my pockets, or, you do the arm around the shoulder. What in the world is going on in Denver and Colorado? I had multiple pictures taken on the same day. It's like they all got together and went like, all right, dude, like when you take a picture with Wally, make sure you hug him low around the back.
Ew.
Like, dude's like low on my back. Like, I'm like,
Like your love handles?
yeah, like way low.
And it was a guy?
Yes, multiple in different locations.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I'm like, what in the world is going on?
I went to a small group in Denver one time. My friend, I was visiting for a few days, went to a small group, and every person
Yeah.
at that group like tried to give me a hug like while I was there
Yeah.
to greet me. So
Nice.
maybe Denver is just a weird, like maybe their love language is touch.
Yeah,
for
I
some
don't know. It was like, just keep the
reason.
hand up there, bro. Like, let's keep this up. Let's go further north than south, okay? Let's do North Star, not Southern Comfort.
hands on the back of your head.
Yeah, it was
But
bad.
sadly, that's how some women find themselves in situations like that,
That
where
stinks.
like creepy guys just take advantage and then
Oh,
you just,
yeah.
like they'll do the rubbing of the hand
Yeah.
or they'll
Right.
put their hand lower and then you feel awkward
Yeah.
and you don't know what to say or do.
That was the whole Taylor Swift thing. You
Yeah,
remember that? Where
that was
she
bad.
was with a jock, a radio guy, and she accused him of being inappropriate because his hand was low
Yeah.
on her,
Yeah, and it was in a photo and she didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And then he sued her and then she sued for $1 and won.
Yeah, I could definitely see that being like real tricky for women and guys being creepers, and because it seems innocent. Let's take a photo, and then like they hold too long or
Yeah.
grab too low.
Ugh.
Like I could see that.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? Let's do some birthdays. No, that's not a lot.
No, that was
That's
funny.
not bad. That's not like murder.
Beth, she wants to wish her twin sister, Gail, a happy birthday. Said she's a great sister and friend. Her question is, so happy birthday, Gail. Her question is, if you had a twin, would you want to be identical?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've always wondered about that. Like, I would do all the switching places and the jokes and stuff like that for sure to see what I could get away with.
Yeah, but the con is that you aren't just you. Like, no one can say, you are the only
You're one in a million.
you.
You're
'Cause
two
not.
in a million.
Yeah. There's someone that looks just like you.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The pros are if you wanted to try a hairstyle and you could talk your twin into it, then they could try it and then you could see what you look like.
Oh, that's a good testing mechanism.
They always say twins are really close. Like my wife had said, "Oh, I wish I had been a twin." Like they're super close, their bond, and I've always been fascinated by that kind of stuff. Now it is creepy when like you have twins in your 40s that are identical and they still dress alike. You're like,
I watched a show about that.
I know that show.
Sisters.
Yes.
Wasn't it twins who married twins?
Yeah,
Yes.
no, it was.
That's one
it
show.
was something called like Weird Sisters or something, but it was on TLC. But they had that, like a set of identical twin women married a set of identical twin guys.
It's wild.
And then they lived in the same house.
Yeah, no.
And they didn't like distinguish whose baby was whose. So they
They're just one
considered
big family.
Yeah. So the one sister had a baby. That was considered the first son. And then the second girl had a baby, and that was considered the second child.
No, I mean, I get...
It's the first child and the second child because they share identity. Like they share ID. No. They share DNA.
Yeah.
Because the set of twins and the set of twins have the same DNA.
Oh, that's weird.
So they're saying like the kids, even though they're cousins, they're also biologically
too
sister
weird.
and brother.
Too weird.
But then there was another one that was a set of twins like you were talking about, Gavin, and they were in their 30s or 40s and they refused to look different. Like they did everything the same.
I guess I would want to look like my twin if they were good looking. Like if they weren't, you're like, why do I have to be identical?
But then also if you wanted to break up with someone, you could send them in.
Yeah.
They
absolutely.
A lot
care.
of pros there.
Oh yeah.
Haley wants twins like really badly. And if I were to have the actual twins, I'd like to have like a boy and girl twin where I wouldn't be messing them up because I am bad. Like I am bad at the whole like face recognition thing.
Right.
And I assume maybe I'd be better at it with my own kids.
You think, but they lose them all the time.
Well, I will
Or
say
mix 'em up.
this. When I worked at the daycare, there was a set of twins. They were Aubrey and Avery. And
that's not helpful.
Avery?
and they were identical. But
That's tough.
I could not tell them apart until I had them in my class. And then it was easy peasy.
Oh, really?
I could tell. I was like, oh, that's Aubrey.
Was it
Oh, that's
personality
Avery.
driven or was it?
No, they just started looking different to me. I don't know. It was I can't explain it, but it's like the more you're around them, the easier it is to identify them.
Well, I think that's going to conclude our little Aftercast here. The thing that was going to be a shorter Aftercast ended up not being. And that, just like the show today, I guess we're super verbose today, I guess. So that's going to do it for your Aftercast.
As always, thanks for being a potty.